What are the best Toku shows of all time? For over 70 years, Japan has been creating cutting-edge live-action entertainment that's grown into a worldwide cultural phenomenon and spawned countless shows. This video ranks the top 100 greatest Toku shows of all time, including Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Metal Hero, GARO, Power Rangers, and even a few hidden gems that you might not have ever seen before. This list is based on a mix of popularity, influence, critical reception, and long-term fan consensus, plus my own personal opinion. You'll probably disagree with some of these placements, and honestly, that's part of the fun. So sit back and relax. These are the top 100 greatest Toku shows of all time. Coming in at number 100 is Kaiketsu Zubat, one of the most unique creations from Shotaro Ishinomori. The series follows Ken Hayakawa, a wandering hero who travels across Japan tracking down the criminal organization responsible for his friend's death. Each episode sees him confront a new gang and ultimately defeat its leader. Zubat stands out for its style, blending superhero, detective, and Western elements into a single formula. Ken's character is defined by his overwhelming confidence and skill. He consistently outperforms his enemies at the things that they're known for before taking them down. Portrayed by Hiroshi Miyauchi, Ken carries a strong screen presence, reinforced by his red suit, wide-brimmed hat, and cape, which give the series its distinct look. Despite its shorter run, Zubat left a lasting impression thanks to its unique tone and memorable lead. I really enjoy this show, and I think it probably deserves a little bit more recognition than it gets. If you're a fan of Ishinomori, you should definitely check this one out. With its experimental style and cool main character, Zubat starts off our list at number 100. Kamen Rider V3! Coming in at number 99 is Kamen Rider V3, a direct sequel to Kamen Rider Ichigo that built on the foundation of the original series. The story follows Shiro Kazami, who witnesses the destruction of his family at the hands of Destron. After risking his life to save the original riders, he's transformed into Kamen Rider V3, continuing the fight against the organization. This series carries forward key elements from the original while introducing new characters, including Joji Yuki, also known as Riderman. His design stands out with an exposed face, setting him apart from other riders. V3 expands the world established in the first series, strengthening the continuity and helping solidify the franchise's identity moving forward. I really like the way this series continued the story of the original and also the introduction of Riderman. If V3's suit was a little better, this show would probably rank higher for me. This show kept the high standards of the original and introduced some cool new elements. Because of that, Kamen Rider V3 earns the number 99 spot.
A freak accident turns Sam Collins into Servo. His friends join forces in their samurais attack vehicles. Together they transform into the Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Coming in at number 98 is Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, an American adaptation of Gridman the Hyper Agent. This series was co-produced by Tsuburaya and adapted for Western television, introducing a lot of viewers to its digital concept and format. The story centers around a virtual world where threats emerge through technology, with the hero entering that world to combat them. That premise helped give the show a distinct identity compared to other Western shows at the time.
Think is a servo program. Oh, cool battle armor.
While it didn't reach the same level of popularity as other Toku-inspired series in the West, it still played an important role in exposing audiences to Gridman and, by extension, the broader Ultraverse. This show is kind of a hidden gem, but I watched it a ton when I was a kid. I consider it pretty underrated. This show had a unique concept and contributed to bringing Toku concepts overseas. Because of that, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad earns the number 98 spot on our list. Kamen Rider X! Coming in at number 97 is Kamen Rider X, a darker Kamen Rider series from the Showa era with a strong revenge-driven story. The series follows Keisuke Jin, who's mortally wounded after being betrayed by his fiancée and targeted by the organization known as the Government of Darkness. In a final effort to save him, his father, a robotics expert, transforms him into a cyborg, Kamen Rider X, before passing away. Driven by loss and betrayal, Keisuke's character shifts from easygoing to focused and determined, with a clear goal of avenging his father and stopping the Government of Darkness. His father's presence continues through a supercomputer system, adding another layer to the story. X's design stands out too, with a helmet that has a more skeletal look, giving him a distinct visual identity compared to other riders at the time. While the series had a shorter run, it still contributed to the evolution of the franchise with its tone and character direction. This is a show I rewatch a lot when I'm in the mood for some Showa-era Toku. It just has a gritty vibe that I enjoy a lot. Due to this show's tone, character design, and dark story, Kamen Rider X earns the number 97 spot. Coming in at number 96 is Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, a season that marked a major shift in the direction of the Power Rangers franchise. Lost Galaxy introduced a completely new cast and setting, moving away from Angel Grove and placing the story aboard Terra Venture, a space colony searching for a new home. The Rangers gain their powers through the Quasar Sabers, ancient weapons that choose their wielders. This season stands out for its tone and storytelling. It introduces heavier moments, including the sacrifice of Kendrix, which adds real emotional weight to the narrative. The Magna Defender also plays a key role, bringing a more serious story angle to the show. Lost Galaxy blends space exploration, action, and character-driven storytelling in a way that helped redefine what Power Rangers could be. It also set the stage for future standalone seasons by proving the franchise could succeed without relying on previous casts or locations. This is a show I slept on when it came out, but I grew to really enjoy it eventually. Plus, the theme song is absolutely epic. I could listen to it on repeat. Lost Galaxy had a bold new direction and emotional moments, earning it the number 96 spot. Coming in at number 95 is Kira Major, a bright, high-energy Sentai season that's consistently entertaining. Kira Major thrives on its cast, with each ranger bringing a distinct personality that plays off the others in fun and sometimes awkward ways. Those interactions give the show a constant sense of energy and humor. Even the mecha have strong personalities, adding comedic moments during battles and making the action feel more lively and character-driven. The series leans into its absurd moments while keeping everything light and entertaining, creating a tone that's consistently upbeat. With its colorful style, strong character dynamics, and non-stop charm, Kira Major stands out as one of the most fun Sentai seasons ever, and that's what earns it the number 95 spot. Coming in at number 94 is Tokuger, a season that fully embraces lighthearted humor. Tokuger follows a team whose powers are fueled by imagination, giving the series a playful and unpredictable tone. The characters approach the world with a childlike perspective, which leads to a lot of exaggerated and genuinely funny moments. The villains match that energy, leaning into theatrical and over-the-top performances that keep the story entertaining. The train motif gives the show a unique identity, allowing it to explore ideas in a more creative way than a lot of other seasons. This show had a unique theme and lighthearted energy and was a lot of fun to watch, landing Tokuger in the number 94 spot. Coming in at number 93 is Kamen Rider Black Sun, a dark reimagining of Kamen Rider Black. Black Sun takes the original premise and pushes it into a much more mature and grounded direction. The tone is heavy, with a social-driven story that explores conflict, division, and the darker side of humanity. The series stands out for its intensity. The transformation sequence feels painful, and the action leans into a much more brutal style than most entries in the franchise. It also spends time focusing on suffering, addiction, and the cost of power, giving the story a bleak outlook that older fans can appreciate. The gore can sometimes feel a little over the top, but it's delivered in such an extreme way that I can appreciate it for what it is. With its uncompromising tone and more grounded approach, Black Sun offers a different kind of rider experience, and that's what earns it the number 93 spot. Coming in at number 92 is Kamen Rider Amazons, another reimagining of a classic series. Inspired by Kamen Rider Amazon, this series was produced for a streaming audience and takes a much more intense approach compared to the mainline shows. The tone is way more violent and grounded, focusing on survival and the consequences of power. The story centers around a conflict involving Amazon creatures and the people connected to them, exploring themes of identity and what it means to be human in a harsh world. With shorter seasons and a tighter structure, Amazons delivered a more focused narrative while still expanding on the ideas introduced in the original. I love the style and tone of this show. It just hits with an intensity that's hard to replicate. Kamen Rider Amazons offered a really different take on the franchise, and that's what earns it the number 92 spot. Coming in at number 91 is Kamen Rider Wizard, a series that blends magic and fantasy with a lighthearted and charming tone. The story follows Haruto Soma, who becomes Kamen Rider Wizard and uses elemental rings to transform and access different abilities. That ring-based system gives the series a unique visual style and adds variety to the action. Wizard leaned into its magical theme, incorporating spells and fantasy elements while still maintaining the core rider structure that fans were used to. The supporting cast also stands out, especially Kosuke, who becomes Kamen Rider Beast. His personality and dynamic with Haruto add a lot of humor to the series. Beast also has one of my personal favorite suit designs in the franchise. It's just so unique looking. This is a series that I don't always rank super high, but it has a lot of good things going for it. With its mix of magic, character moments, and lighthearted energy, Wizard put its own spin on the rider formula, and that's what earns it the number 91 spot. Coming in at number 90 is Mega Ranger, a Sentai series that leans into technology, gaming, and a futuristic style. The story follows a group of high school students who gain advanced technology and become the Mega Rangers to battle Nezaregia. Mega Ranger stands out for its use of high-tech equipment, including devices like the Cyber Sliders, along with helmet displays that highlight each Ranger's abilities. These elements helped push the visual style of the franchise forward. The season also introduced the first Silver Ranger in Sentai, along with the Neji Rangers, an evil counterpart team that brought a new kind of threat to the story. This show introduced me to the world of Super Sentai back in the day, and I'll always have a bit of a soft spot for it. I love the charm of the characters and the moments of levity throughout the series. Due to its futuristic theme, creative tech concepts, and memorable additions to the formula, Mega Ranger holds a unique place in the franchise, and that's what earns it the number 90 spot. Coming in at number 89 is Ultraman Geed, or Jido, a series with an exciting story built around legacy. The series follows Riku Asakura, the human form of Ultraman Geed. Despite being the son of Belial, one of the franchise's most infamous villains, Riku is raised as an optimistic person, creating a strong contrast that drives the story. Geed's power system is centered around fusion, allowing him to combine the abilities and traits of past Ultras into new forms. That mechanic ties the series back into the larger Ultra legacy while giving it a unique visual identity. The supporting cast adds to that dynamic, including members of the AIB along with allies like Leto, who becomes Ultraman Zero. Their presence helps expand the scope of the story and connect it to the wider universe. This show had a banger of a theme song, and to me it's just an easy, enjoyable watch. It definitely has its fair share of criticisms in the community, but it's a show I can always come back to. Ultraman Geed delivered a character-driven story that stands out among modern entries, and that's what earns it the number 89 spot. Coming in at number 88 is Gingaman, a Sentai series that blended classic Toku themes with a more mystical tone. The story follows a group of warriors who defend Earth against the space pirate faction known as Balban. Gingaman draws inspiration from earlier Sentai concepts while adding its own identity through its setting and themes. Much like Lost Galaxy, I slept on this show for a while before giving it another shot and forming a new appreciation for it. It has a well-rounded tone that blends its fantasy elements with a fair amount of grittiness. The theme of legendary warriors gave the show a really timeless feel, earning it the number 88 spot. Coming in at number 87 is Ultraman RB, or Ultraman Ryub, an Ultra series centered around family and teamwork. This story follows the Minato siblings, with Katsumi transforming into Ultraman Raso and Isami becoming Ultraman Blue. Their family dynamic drives the series, blending action with a strong focus on their relationship. Ryub leans into a lighter tone, making it approachable while still delivering the signature action and visual effects the franchise is known for. I really enjoyed the family dynamic, and some parts of the show are so good looking that it borders on being eye candy. This is definitely one of the better modern Ultra series, and the movie is great too. With its focus on family, accessible storytelling, and high energy, this show stands out as an entertaining series and an easy entry point for new Ultraman fans. And that's why it earns the number 87 spot. Coming in at number 86 is Kamen Rider Kiva, a Kamen Rider series that blends gothic horror themes with a dual timeline story. Kiva unfolds across 2 time periods, allowing the story to explore cause and effect between past and present events. That structure adds depth as the connection between characters and conflicts are gradually revealed. The story follows Wataru Kurenai, a quiet and introverted protagonist who becomes Kamen Rider Kiva. As a human Fangire hybrid, his identity plays a central role in the narrative, especially as the series explores his family history and his place within the Fangire hierarchy. The Fangires themselves stand out with their stained glass inspired design, giving the series a unique visual style. The show also features Kivat, a bat-like companion that enables Kiva's transformation, and the arms monsters who grant him additional abilities. This is a show that I really love, but I know it can be kind of divisive in the community. That's why it's not ranked higher. I love the look of the suits and the dual timeline premise. As I've said before, Kiva himself reminds me a lot of Spawn. With its gothic look, layered storytelling, and unique concepts, Kiva offered fans a different take on the Rider formula, landing it in the number 86 spot. Coming in at number 85 is Power Rangers Dino Thunder, a series that reconnected the Power Rangers franchise back to its roots, while also being the start of a new generation. The series follows a group of high school students who gain dinosaur-themed powers to battle against Mesogog. The story blends classic elements with a more modern structure, giving it a familiar but refreshing feel. One of the biggest highlights was the return of Tommy Oliver, now serving as the team's mentor. His presence ties the season back to earlier years of the franchise, and his role as the Black Dino Ranger added another layer to his legacy.
I've only just started. You want some more? Fools.
The core team brings a relatable dynamic, balancing everyday life with the responsibilities of being a ranger. The season also touches on themes like technology and evolution, while maintaining a tone that balanced action and strong character moments. Bringing Tommy back was definitely a win, and that alone raised the entertainment value for me by a lot. With its connection to the franchise's history, strong cast, and well-rounded story, Dino Thunder stood out as one of the most memorable Power Rangers series of its era, and that's what earns it the number 85 spot.
Kamen Rider Stronger!
Coming in at number 84 is Kamen Rider Stronger, a Showa-era series that was originally intended to conclude the Kamen Rider franchise. The story follows Shigeru Jo, who allows himself to be transformed into a cyborg after his mentor Goro is killed by the organization Black Satan. Alongside him is Yuriko, also known as Electro-Wave Humanoid Tackle. While not officially a Kamen Rider, she shares a similar origin and plays a key role in the story. Stronger is themed around electricity, with abilities and attacks that reflect that concept. The series is also notable for introducing one of the earliest power-up forms for a rider, a concept that would later become a major part of the franchise. I love Stronger's bulky chest armor and helmet, and Tackle was a great addition that I think added a lot to the show. With its unique place in the Showa era and its contributions to evolving the rider formula, Kamen Rider Stronger earns the number 84 spot on our list. Coming in at number 83 is Kyoryuger, a high-energy Sentai season that fully embraces its over-the-top style. Kyoryuger leans into its dinosaur theme with a loud, colorful presentation and a cast full of big personalities. The team dynamic is driven by the group's contrast, from the energetic and charismatic Red to more serious members who bring balance to the group. The tone is consistently playful, with humor woven into character interactions and the overall story. The villains match that energy, delivering exaggerated performances that keep the show entertaining. Even the action reflects that style, with flashy sequences and creative mecha moments that prioritize fun and spectacle. And if there's one word I'd use to describe this show, it would be fun. It's just lighthearted and easy to watch. This show had non-stop energy, a bold presentation, and a strong sense of identity, earning it the number 83 spot. Next up at number 82 is Kamen Rider Black RX, a direct sequel that expanded on the legacy of Kamen Rider Black. The story continued with Kotaro Minami, who refuses to join the Crisis Empire and is cast into the sun, leading to his transformation into Black RX. That origin gives the series a strong continuation while still introducing new elements. RX stands out for introducing form switching into the Kamen Rider franchise, allowing Kotaro to adapt to different situations in battle. This mechanic would go on to become a staple in later Rider series. The show also breaks tradition with his vehicle, a red car that replaces the usual motorcycle, making RX incredibly unique. Black RX was the return of one of the most legendary Toku characters ever, and this show also did some things to differentiate itself, landing at the number 82 spot. Coming in at number 81 is Kamen Rider Revice, a series that blended anniversary elements with a strong story about family. As Kamen Rider's 50th anniversary project, Revice focused on Ikki Igarashi and his inner demon Vice, who worked together as a pair to become Kamen Rider Revice. That dual rider concept gives the series a unique dynamic right from the start. Multiple Igarashi family members gain the ability to transform, tying the action directly into the show's central theme of family bonds. The riders transform and battle the Deadmans, a group connected to the demon-based concept that drives the story. Revice also stands out visually, with bold color choices and a distinct style that helps separate it from other seasons. I wasn't a huge fan of the color scheme at first, but it grew on me over time. Revice offered fans a fresh take on the Kamen Rider formula, and that's what earns it the number 81 spot. Coming in at number 80 is World Ninja Jiraiya, a unique Toku series that takes the Metal Hero formula in a completely different direction. Jiraiya shifts away from the sci-fi focus of earlier seasons and leans into a ninja theme, blending traditional Japanese elements with the action style of the franchise. That change gives the series a distinct identity compared to its predecessors. The story introduces a wide range of characters, including rival ninjas, masters, and even samurai, creating a world that mixes classic martial arts traditions with Toku storytelling. That hybrid approach helps the series stand out, showing that the Metal Hero franchise could expand beyond its original sci-fi roots. I love how they took the normal formula and somehow fit it into a ninja theme, and I think Jiraiya's suit looks awesome. With its fresh concept and cultural influence, Jiraiya represents an important step in the evolution of the Metal Hero franchise, and that's what earns it the number 80 spot. Coming in at number 79 is Kamen Rider 01, a series that explores technology and the rise of AI. The story follows Aruto Hiden, a comedian who unexpectedly inherits Hiden Intelligence, a company responsible for creating Humagears, highly advanced androids designed to assist humans. His role quickly shifts as he becomes Kamen Rider 01 to protect people and Humagears. The central conflict revolves around MetsuboJinrai.net, a group of rogue Humagears led by Horobi, who aim to overthrow humanity by turning Humagears into hostile magia. That setup drives a larger question about whether AI is ultimately beneficial or dangerous. The series also features Fua and Yaiba, whose goals don't always align with Aruto's, adding tension and multiple perspectives to the story. 01 stands out visually, with sleek suit designs and fast, stylized action that give it a really dynamic feel. I've said before that this show is like live-action anime, and I really enjoy it a lot. This show's production was rushed toward the end due to the 2020 pandemic, and if it had kept up its momentum all the way to the end, I probably would have ranked it much higher. Despite its production challenges, the series was extremely memorable for its themes, presentation, and relevance, making it a really strong modern entry, landing here in the number 79 spot. Coming in at number 78 is Go Onger, a high-energy Sentai season built around comedy, action, and an energetic cast. The series follows a group of heroes chosen by mechanical beings known as engines to become the Go Ongers and battle the Gaiark. The combination of vehicle and animal motifs gives the team a distinct look and identity. Go Onger leans heavily into humor, with a great cast and constant banter that keeps the tone light. Even during major battles, the show maintains a sense of fun, making it one of the more comedic entries in the franchise. While the story includes themes like pollution and environmental responsibility, it never becomes heavy-handed, instead weaving those ideas into a more upbeat and entertaining narrative. This show just makes me smile, and I can always give it a rewatch. With explosive action, excellent characters, and consistently fun tone, Go Onger stood out as one of the most lighthearted Sentai seasons ever, landing here in the number 78 spot. Coming in at number 77 is Android Kikaider, one of Shotaro Ishinomori's most meaningful series outside of Kamen Rider. The story follows Jiro, an android created by Dr. Komyoji to fight against an evil robotic organization led by Professor Gill. After Dr. Komyoji is captured, Jiro protects the doctor's children, while continuing the fight against Professor Gill. What sets Kikaider apart is its core concept. Jiro has a conscience circuit, allowing him to choose between good and evil. That idea gives the series a philosophical edge, constantly exploring the line between programming and free will. His design reflects that identity as well, with a striking half-red, half-blue look that exposes his internal wiring, reinforcing the idea that he's something caught between machine and human. The series focuses heavily on questions of identity, morality, and what it truly means to be human, giving it a depth that stands out even among other Ishinomori projects. With its strong themes, memorable design, and lasting legacy, Android Kikaider remains one of the most impactful Toku series of its era, earning it the number 77 spot on our list. Coming in at number 76 is Ultraman Trigger, New Generation Tiga, a modern reimagining that pays tribute to one of the franchise's most iconic seasons. Designed as both a reboot and a celebration of Ultraman Tiga, the series carries over many of its core themes while updating them for a newer audience. It marks the 25th anniversary of Tiga while adding some unique elements of its own. The story follows Kingo Manake, a botanist who joins Guts Select and becomes Ultraman Trigger. His optimistic personality and connection to the team helps drive the narrative, while the supporting cast adds depth to the overall story. The series also introduces Karumira and Dark Trigger, who bring a darker edge to the conflict and expand the scope of the story. To me, this show is eye candy, and it's just a blast to watch. By blending familiar ideas with a modern presentation, Ultraman Trigger honors Tiga while still moving things forward and having an engaging, well-written story of its own. That's what earns it the number 76 spot on our list. Coming in at number 75 is Changeman, a Sentai season that blends military themes with mythological elements. The story follows a team from the Earth Defense Force who gains powers based on legendary creatures and uses them to fight against the Great Star League Gozma, an alien threat planning to conquer Earth. Changeman builds on the success of earlier seasons while shifting its tone to appeal to a broader audience. It balanced action and character moments while returning to a more structured, episodic format, including the classic Monster of the Week approach.
これまで数々の星を滅ぼしてきたがどの星も醜く
I love this show's gritty tone and the strangeness of Bazoo. The combination of a military framework and mythological inspiration give the team a distinct identity, helping Changeman stand out within the Sentai franchise, and that's what earns it the number 75 spot. Coming in at number 74 is Car Ranger, a Sentai season that fully embraces comedy and parody. Car Ranger takes the vehicle theme and flips expectations on its head by leaning heavily into humor, often poking fun at Sentai tropes. The result is one of the funniest series in Toku history. This series thrives on absurd situations, with episodes built around over-the-top conflicts, misunderstandings, and exaggerated character moments. Even during battles, the tone stays light, turning what would normally be serious moments into comedy gold. It also introduces unique elements like White Racer, a self-proclaimed 6th Ranger, adding another layer of parody to the team's dynamic. Whenever the subject of funny Sentais is brought up, Car Ranger is always mentioned, and for good reason. By embracing its identity as a full comedy while still functioning within the Sentai structure, Car Ranger stands out as one of the most entertaining and unconventional series ever, landing at the number 74 spot on our list. Coming in at number 73 is Shotovan, a direct sequel to Gavin that continued the Space Sheriff legacy. The series follows Din Iga, who takes over as Earth's protector after Gavin is promoted within the Galactic Union Police. As Shotovan, he carries forward the mission while bringing his own style to the role. The show maintains strong continuity with its predecessor, featuring returning elements and characters while expanding the world. Shotovan's red suit gives him a distinct look, helping differentiate him while still fitting within the established universe. Shotovan continued the fight against new threats, building on the foundation set by Gavin while pushing the story forward. This is one of my absolute favorite Metal Hero suit designs in the franchise. That metallic red just looks amazing. Shotovan served as a strong follow-up that helped solidify the Space Sheriff series as a classic trilogy within Toku, and that's what earns it the number 73 spot. Coming in at number 72 is GARO, Heir to the Steel Armor, a continuation of the Yuga storyline that built on the foundation of his earlier series. Set within the same continuity, the story follows Yuga Dogai as he learns that the Gate of Destruction is on the verge of reopening, a catastrophic event that once required great sacrifice to stop. That looming threat drives the central conflict of the series. Alongside Makai priestess Koyori, Ryuga travels to Krie City, where he encounters another Makai knight, Soma. Together, they work toward finding a way to prevent the gate from unleashing chaos once again. The series continues the franchise's signature blend of intense action, dark themes, and character-driven storytelling, while further developing Yuga as a central figure within this timeline. Heir to the Steel Armor added another excellent chapter to the GARO legacy, landing here in the number 72 spot.
Jump Person fights for justice!
Coming in at number 71 is Jan Person, a tech-focused Metal Hero series that leans into crime-solving and advanced weaponry. The series follows a robotic hero who fights crime using a combination of firepower, gadgets, and investigation. The focus on technology and law enforcement gives the show a more grounded, mission-based structure. Jan Person draws clear inspiration from earlier Metal Hero entries like Jiban, and it also brings back familiar actors and elements, creating a sense of continuity within the franchise.
Such.
While it built on what came before, the show still stands out through its sleek design, darker tone, and emphasis on tactical combat. It had a strong visual identity and connection to the broader Metal Hero lineage, offering fans a solid and entertaining spin on the formula, earning Jan Person the number 71 spot right here. Coming in at number 70 is Ultraman Cosmos, a season known for its heart and unique approach to how it presents conflict. The story follows Musashi Haruno, a kind-hearted man who had a childhood encounter with Cosmos and later joins Team Eyes to protect both humanity and the kaiju they encounter. What sets Cosmos apart is its philosophy. Instead of treating every monster as an enemy, the series usually focuses on understanding and coexistence. Many of the conflicts come from fear, misunderstandings, or human actions, which give the story a more thoughtful tone. Musashi's role reflects that approach. He consistently looks for non-violent solutions, and while that ideal is challenged throughout the series, it becomes a core part of his growth as a protector. The show still carries emotional weight, with moments that test those beliefs and force difficult decisions, but it balances that with a sense of hope. Ultraman Cosmos had an emphasis on compassion, coexistence, and character growth, landing at the number 70 spot on our list. Coming in at number 69 is Hurricaneger, a ninja-themed Sentai season that balances action and humor. The story follows a group of students from a ninja academy who become the Hurricanegers after their school is attacked by the Jikanja, an evil space ninja organization. That setup gives the series immediate stakes while still leaving room for character growth. The show builds on ninja concepts seen in earlier seasons, adding elemental powers and a more energetic tone. The core trio is eventually expanded with the Go-Raigers, an insect-themed rival duo, and Shurikinger, a versatile and charismatic ally who adds even more variety to the team. The mix of personalities and shifting alliances helps keep the story engaging, and the action is fast and stylish. This is another show I can always go back to. It's lighthearted with awesome suits and a great vibe. This show had a strong cast and an entertaining tone, standing out as one of the most well-rounded Sentai seasons ever, and that's what earns it the number 69 spot right here. Coming in at number 68 is Ultra Q, the precursor that laid the foundation for the entire Ultra franchise. Produced by Tsuburaya Productions, Ultra Q takes a different approach compared to later entries. Instead of a central hero, it focuses on ordinary people encountering strange phenomena and kaiju, giving the series a tone that feels closer to something like The Twilight Zone, but with giant monsters. The show ran for 28 episodes in black and white, and introduced many creatures that would later reappear in the Ultraman series, helping establish the visual and thematic identity of the franchise. Without relying on a transforming hero, Ultra Q builds tension through mystery and atmosphere, making each encounter feel grounded and unpredictable. As someone who enjoys The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, this is a show that I appreciate a lot, despite not having Ultraman in it. Due to its unique format and lasting influence, Ultra Q set the stage for everything that followed. That's what earns it the number 68 spot on our list. Coming in at number 67 is Akiba Ranger, a self-aware parody that takes the Sentai formula in a completely new direction. Akiba Ranger is intended for older fans, leaning heavily into meta humor and fourth wall breaks. It constantly references Sentai tropes, from dramatic roll calls to transformation sequences, while also poking fun at things like budget limitations and merchandising. The story follows a team of characters whose delusions blur the line between reality and imagination, creating situations where it's not always clear what's actually happening. That unpredictability becomes a core part of the show's identity. Familiar elements from the main franchise appear throughout the show, but they're presented in a much more comedic and exaggerated way, reinforcing the parody tone. Akiba Ranger stands out as one of the most unique series in the history of Toku, with fast-paced humor, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of the genre it's making fun of. And that's what earns it the number 67 spot. Coming in at number 66 is Big Bad Beetleborgs, a Metal Hero adaptation that took its formula in a different direction. Based on Juko B-Fighter, the series follows three kids, Drew, Roland, and Joe, who gain the powers of their favorite comic book heroes after encountering a ghost named Flabber. That setup gives the show a more playful, fantasy-driven tone compared to other adaptations at the time. A big part of this show's identity comes from its setting. A lot of the story takes place in a haunted house filled with eccentric monsters, adding a layer of comedy and unpredictability that sets it apart. The show also uses comic book style transitions and visuals, reinforcing its theme in a creative way. While it shares similarities with other Saban era shows, Beetleborgs leans more heavily into humor and a comic book style, which helped it stand out and find its own audience. When I was a kid, these suits looked super cutting edge and I wanted to get all of the toys. This show had a unique tone and creative presentation, earning it the number 66 spot on our list. Coming in at number 65 is Kamen Rider Blade, a season with a card theme and a really interesting rider system. The story follows Kazuma Kinzaki, who becomes Kamen Rider Blade as part of Board, an organization looking to seal away creatures known as undead. Alongside him are other riders like Garen, Chalice, and Liangle, each tied to a different card suit and role within the system. The card theme is central to both the story and the combat, with riders using cards to activate abilities and power-ups during battle. That system gives the show a clear identity and adds variety to how fights play out. This show had a distinct motif, awesome riders, and a really memorable style. Blade holds a solid place within the Kamen Rider franchise, landing it here in the number 65 spot. Coming in at number 64 is Kamen Rider Drive, a season that blends police drama with a car theme. The story follows a detective reassigned to the Special Investigation Unit, where he handles cases involving the mysterious slowdown phenomena and battles the Roidmutes. With the help of his transformation device, known as Belt-san, he becomes Kamen Rider Drive and takes on these threats.
Drive! Type! Speed!
The series leans into its car motif, with Drive's design, abilities, and combat style all centered around speed and mobility. His signature red vehicle plays a major role, reinforcing the show's theme. Drive also carries a tone that mixes investigation with action, giving it a structure that feels closer to a police series while still delivering the core rider experience. Kamen Rider Drive was a really strong entry in the franchise. It had a distinct theme, solid character work, and a well-written story, landing at the number 64 spot. Coming in at number 63 is Ultraman 80, a season that stays true to the Ultra formula while adding its own spin on things. The story follows Takeshi Yamato, a school teacher who's secretly Ultraman 80. He also serves as a member of UGM, working to protect Earth from kaiju threats while still trying to keep his normal life in balance. That dual role gives the series a different perspective, blending traditional Ultra action with a more grounded, human side through Takeshi's interactions as a teacher. The show also introduces Yulian, a princess from the Land of Light, expanding the scope of the Ultra universe and adding another important figure to its legacy. With its balance of classic elements and new ideas, Ultraman 80 honored what came before while carving out its own place in the franchise, and that's what earns it the number 63 spot. Coming in at number 62 is Go Ranger, the series that started it all for Super Sentai. Created by Shotaro Ishinomori, Go Ranger laid the foundation for the team-based hero format that would define the franchise. The story follows the Earth Guard League, or Eagle, as they fight against the Black Cross Army. After a series of attacks wipes out most of their forces, 5 surviving members come together to form Go Ranger. The series established many of the core elements that would carry on into the future: color-coded heroes, coordinated team attacks, specialized weapons, and vehicles like the Varibloon, which served as an early precursor to the mecha seen in later seasons. Each member brought their own abilities into battle, and the team dynamic became a central part of the show's identity. That structure would go on to influence decades of Sentai storytelling. When I'm in the mood for some Showa-era Toku, this is a show that stays in the rotation. It's so classic and stylish. Go Rangers set the standard for what Super Sentai would become, and that's what earns this legendary series the number 62 spot on our list. Coming in at number 61 is GARO, Makai Senki, a continuation that built directly on the original series and expanded its story. The series follows Koga Seijima as he's cursed with the Seal of Destruction, weakening his abilities and adding constant pressure to every battle. Despite that, he continues his duties as a Makai Knight. The story introduces Leo, a Makai priest who assists Koga, and his twin brother Sigma, who becomes a central antagonist. Sigma's goal is to destabilize the Makai order from within, creating conflict between knights and pushing the story into more complex territory. As the series progresses, the stakes continue to rise, with Koga facing external threats and internal challenges within the order. The tension builds towards a final confrontation that ties together the larger conflict while also advancing Koga's personal journey, including his relationship with Kaoru. Makai Senki balances action, horror, and emotional storytelling, continuing the tone established by the original while pushing the narrative forward. With its expanded world, stronger conflicts, and progression of Koga's arc, it stands out as a worthy successor, and that's what earns it the number 61 spot.
Beetleborgs were in a mix and now have gone metallic.
Coming in at number 60 is Beetleborgs Metallics, a follow-up that builds on the foundation of the original Beetleborgs. Based on B-Fighter Kabuto, Metallics continued the story with the same core cast while upgrading the action, visuals, and overall presentation. The suits and the combat felt more advanced, reflecting the evolution seen in the show's source material. The series keeps the lighthearted tone and character-driven structure of the original, while introducing new elements that expand the world and raise the stakes.
Data binder. Input cards. Beetle Blast.
While it didn't reach the same level of impact as its predecessor, Beetleborgs Metallics still found moderate success in the West. That continuation, along with its connection to the broader Metal Hero franchise, plus just being so damn entertaining, earned it the number 60 spot. Coming in at number 59 is Zyuranger, a season that helped shape the future of the Super Sentai franchise. Zyuranger follows a team of ancient warriors awakened after millions of years to battle the witch Bandora. This show's dinosaur theme, combined with mythical elements, gives the series a strong and recognizable identity. One of its most important contributions is the introduction of the first official 6th Ranger, Dragon Ranger. Burai's story, especially his connection to Geki, adds emotional weight and creates one of the most memorable story arcs in Sentai. The series also gained additional recognition through its adaptation into the first season of Power Rangers, helping introduce these concepts to a global audience. This show can be pretty divisive in the community, but I'm a huge Dragon Ranger fan, and I think Burai's story is peak 90s Toku. With its iconic theme, major additions to the formula, and lasting influence, Zyuranger was a key part of Sentai's history, landing it a spot here at number 59.
Come on, Rangers!
Right.
Coming in at number 58 is Power Rangers SPD, one of the standout seasons of the Disney era with a strong focus on characters and story. Set in a futuristic world where humans and aliens coexist, the series follows B Squad, a group of rookie rangers who step up after the elite A Squad disappears. As the story unfolds, that mystery becomes a major turning point, adding depth to the overall conflict. The team is led by Commander Doggy Kruger, one of the most memorable mentors in the entire franchise. Each ranger brings their own personality and struggles into the story, and their growth is a key part of what drives the series forward. The season also introduces the Omega Ranger, who travels back in time to help stop Emperor Grum, adding another layer to the larger narrative. SPD balances its tone well, mixing humor, character moments, and more serious developments without losing focus. The story builds towards a conclusion that feels earned, with clear progression for the team and its members. With its strong cast, structured storytelling, and lasting reputation, SPD stands out as one of the most respected Power Rangers seasons ever, and that's what earns it the number 58 spot right here. Coming in at number 57 is Gridman, the Hyper Agent, a unique project from Tsuburaya that helped push Toku in a new direction. While not officially part of the Ultra series, Gridman carries a similar spirit, blending hero action with a different kind of setting. The story centers around a digital world, with threats emerging through technology, giving the series a distinct identity compared to other shows of its time. One of Gridman's biggest contributions to Toku was its use of new video and special effects techniques, especially in how digital elements were incorporated into the action. That approach would go on to influence how Toku handled visual effects in later productions. Over time, Gridman gained a strong following, both for its concept and its impact on the genre, and it continued to be referenced in modern projects. With its experimental style and lasting influence, Gridman the Hyper Agent lands here in the number 57 spot on our list. Coming in at number 56 is Kamen Rider Fozit, one of the most unique and energetic entries in the Kamen Rider franchise. As a 40th anniversary project, this show leans into a space theme while centering the story around the Kamen Rider Club at Amanogawa High School. The setting gives the series a lighter, more youthful tone while still delivering strong character moments. The story follows Gintaro Kisaragi, an outgoing and charismatic transfer student whose goal is simple: to become friends with everyone. His personality drives the show, and his interactions with the rest of the cast give the series its distinct energy. Alongside him is Yuki, his childhood friend, who shares that same enthusiasm and helps anchor the group. Fozit takes some big creative risks with its style and presentation, but those choices help it stand out. The combination of school life, space-themed abilities, and a strong focus on friendship gives it an identity that's completely its own. This show had a memorable cast, bold direction, and consistently fun tone, making it one of the most unique Rider seasons ever, and it lands here in the number 56 spot.
ルパンレッドルパンブルールパンイエロー怪盗戦隊どうもルパンレンジャー
Coming in at number 55 is Lupin Ranger vs. Pat Ranger, a season that introduced a completely new format to the Super Sentai franchise. This series features two opposing Ranger teams, the Lupin Rangers, a group of thieves, and the Pat Rangers, a police force, both operating at the same time while also dealing with the Gangler crime syndicate. That setup creates a constant back and forth dynamic, with each side pursuing its own goals. The dual team structure gives the show a unique identity, with conflicts that go beyond the usual hero versus villain format. Both teams are presented as legitimate protagonists, which adds tension and variety to the story. The series also introduces a shared 6th Ranger known as X, a first for the franchise and another element that reinforces the show's central concept. Lupin Ranger vs. Pat Ranger had a really creative structure, standing out as one of the most unique and experimental Sentai seasons ever, landing it here at number 55. Coming in at number 54 is Kamen Rider Amazon, one of the shortest and most intense entries in the Kamen Rider franchise. The story follows Daisuke Yamamoto, a young man who was stranded in the Amazon as a child and raised in the wild before being taken in by a tribe. After his village is attacked and destroyed, a ritual performed by the tribe's elder grants him the power to become Kamen Rider Amazon before sending him off to Japan. Amazon stands out for its more brutal and raw approach to its combat. The action feels more physical and aggressive than most other shows, giving the series a distinct identity compared to other Showa-era riders. With its unconventional origin, feral protagonist, and dark presentation, Kamen Rider Amazon carved out a unique place in Toku, landing it here at number 54. Coming in at number 53 is Space Sheriff Scheider, the third and final entry in Metal Hero's Space Sheriff trilogy. The series follows Dai Sawamura, a native of Earth who takes on the role of Scheider to protect the planet from extraterrestrial threats. His distinct blue suit helps set him apart from his predecessors while still maintaining the core identity of the Space Sheriff series. Scheider continues the blend of sci-fi action and investigative elements that define the earlier shows, bringing a polished version of the formula to close out the trilogy. With its connection to the broader legacy of the genre and its role in completing the Space Sheriff trilogy, Scheider holds an important place in Toku, and that's what earns it the number 53 spot. Coming in at number 52 is Go Busters, a Sentai season that takes a more grounded and mature approach compared to many of its counterparts. Go Busters stands out for its tone, leaning closer to a tactical, mission-based style, rather than the brighter, more exaggerated presentation seen in seasons like Gokaiger or Kyoryuger. That shift gives the series a more serious atmosphere, with a structure that feels more like a special ops unit instead of a traditional Sentai team. The villains also play a big role in the show's identity. Enter and Escape bring a level of personality and depth that adds tension to the story, and their presence helps push the narrative in a darker direction as it progresses. While the show still includes lighter moments, it gradually builds towards more emotional and serious story beats, including consequences that carry real weight. That balance made the show very appealing, especially for older viewers. Even the suit designs reflect that approach. They're more streamlined and practical, reinforcing the idea of a team focused on efficiency rather than spectacle. I wasn't a huge fan of these suits at first, but they grew on me, and I think this show has a lot to appreciate. With its grounded tone, strong antagonists, and more serious storytelling, Go Busters offered a different take on the Sentai formula, earning it the number 52 spot on our list. Coming in at number 51 is Kamen Rider Zi-O, an anniversary season built around time travel and the legacy of the Kamen Rider franchise. The story follows Sogo, a man destined to become Oma Zi-O, a powerful and feared ruler in the future. To stop that outcome, Gaze travels back in time to eliminate him, while Tsukuyomi arrives with the goal of protecting Sogo. That setup creates constant tension as Sogo tries to avoid falling into the future he's destined to fulfill. As the series unfolds, Zi-O explores different points in time, bringing in past riders and revisiting their worlds. It also introduces altered versions of those riders, adding conflict while still tying into the franchise's history. The time-based structure gives the show a wide scope, allowing it to move between different eras while building towards Sogo's eventual fate. As an anniversary season, Zi-O functions as a celebration of Kamen Rider as a whole, filled with returning elements and connections that longtime fans can appreciate. That focus on legacy, combined with its central conflict around destiny and choice, is what earns Kamen Rider Zi-O the number 51 spot. Coming in at number 50 is Japanese Spider-Man, one of the most unique and unexpected entries in Toku history. Produced through a partnership between Toei and Marvel, this version reimagines Spider-Man in a way that blends familiar elements with a full Toku structure. Instead of Peter Parker, the story follows Takiya Yamashiro, who gains his powers after receiving a blood transfusion from an alien named Garia following his father's death. Takuya uses his abilities to fight against Professor Monster and the Iron Cross Army, combining classic Spider-Man traits like web slinging, wall crawling, and enhanced strength with a Monster of the Week format. When threats escalate, he summons Leopardon, his giant robot, bringing the series fully into the Toku style. The suit design stays close to the classic red and blue look, and the show's tone resembles early Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Over time, this version gained a strong cult following. It's often referenced in Spider-Man media and stands out as one of the most unconventional adaptations of the character. This is one of my favorite depictions of Spider-Man ever, despite it being so different from its source material. With its unique blend of Western superhero concepts and Toku storytelling, Toei's Spider-Man earns the number 50 spot. Coming in at number 49 is Space Sheriff Gavin, the series that launched what would become the Metal Hero franchise. Created as a new kind of solo hero separate from Kamen Rider, Gavin was designed to be easy for new viewers to jump into while still delivering a strong sci-fi story. The The series follows Gavin, a member of the Galactic Union Police who comes to Earth to stop the Maku Empire. The show leans heavily into space-themed storytelling, with clear inspiration from large-scale sci-fi like Star Wars. Gavin's chrome suit became instantly recognizable, and the transformation and combat style of the series gave it a distinct visual identity. I love his look, and it's definitely one of the most iconic in all of Toku. Kinji Oba brought physicality and presence to the character that helped define the tone of the show. Gavin also found success internationally, airing in multiple countries under different titles and helping expand the reach of Toku beyond Japan. With its strong style and lasting influence, Gavin set the foundation for the Metal Hero franchise, earning it the number 49 spot here on our list. Coming in at number 48 is Magi Ranger, a Sentai series that leans fully into a magical theme with a strong family dynamic at its core. The story follows the Ozu family, who use their magical abilities to fight against Infurtia. That setup gives the series a more personal angle, with the team connected not just as rangers, but as siblings working together. Magi Ranger embraces its fantasy elements, featuring magi sticks, cloaks, and a wide range of spells that bring a more whimsical and creative style to the action. The magic system adds variety to battles and helps give the show a distinct identity within the franchise. The tone balances that lighter, more playful approach with character-driven moments, especially through the family relationships that develop over time. With its unique theme, strong focus on family, and creative use of magic elements, Magi Ranger was an extremely unique Sentai series, and that's what earns it the number 48 spot on our list.
Look out, Rita, we're not backing down, we're the Power Rangers!
Coming in at number 47 is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. A potentially divisive choice, but this series launched a global phenomenon and defined an entire generation in the West. This show was cutting edge when it launched, and it was a combination of a superhero show and a teen sitcom, following a group of teenagers with attitude chosen by Zordon to defend Earth from Rita Repulsa and her army of monsters. The series adapted footage from Zyuranger for its action and mecha scenes, while building its own identity with new characters, setting the story in Angel Grove, and establishing its own continuity. The Rangers used power coins to morph, piloted dinosaur-themed Zords, and combined them into the Megazord to take on giant threats. Despite being made on a relatively low budget, the show's production choices worked in its favor. The mix of adapted footage and original scenes allowed it to deliver large-scale action while keeping costs manageable.
Guess who's back? I don't believe it.
Mighty Morphin became a cultural phenomenon, driving massive toy sales, merchandise, and widespread popularity that helped establish Power Rangers as a lasting brand. This one will probably be too high on the list for a lot of Toku fans, but this show essentially brought Toku to the West. Due to its cultural impact, iconic characters, and lasting influence, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers earns the number 47 spot on our list. Coming in at number 46 is Kamen Rider Agito, a season that built off of Kuga while expanding the rider concept in new ways. The story follows multiple riders with very different origins and abilities. Each rider represents a different approach to power, supernatural, technological, and biological, and their stories intersect in ways that gradually reveal the larger mystery behind their existence. The tone leans into that mystery, with multiple perspectives and storylines unfolding at the same time, giving the series a layered structure. Due to this show having multiple rider dynamics, an evolving story, and an expansion of the rider concept, Agito holds a unique place in Toku history, and that's what earns it the number 46 spot. Coming in at number 45 is Ultraman Gaia, a season known for its huge scale, character depth, and philosophical themes. The story follows Gamu Takayama, a young genius who joins the XIG defense team after discovering he can transform into Ultraman Gaia, a warrior connected to the Earth itself. Alongside him is Hiroya Fujimiya, who becomes Ultraman Agul, bringing a different perspective on humanity and its future. That dual protagonist setup drives the series. Gamu believes in protecting humanity no matter the cost, while Hiroya questions whether humanity deserves to survive at all. Their conflicting ideologies create tension that pushes the story beyond a simple battle between heroes and monsters. The series also explores larger themes like environmental responsibility, humanity's place in the universe, and the consequences of its actions. Not every situation has a clean resolution, and some outcomes leave lasting questions rather than easy answers. As the story progresses, both characters grow in meaningful ways. Gamu develops into a more confident and capable hero, while Hiroya goes through a gradual shift that adds depth to his character arc. Ultraman Gaia delivered a deep and thoughtful take on the Ultra formula, earning it the number 45 spot on our list. Coming in at number 44 is Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, an American adaptation that brought Kamen Rider to a Western audience. Based on Kamen Rider Ryuki, the series used adapted footage alongside original material and aired on the CW. The choice of Ryuki worked well for an adaptation, with its large cast of writers and battle-driven structure translating naturally to a Western format. The story follows Kit Taylor, who becomes Kamen Rider Dragon Knight and is drawn into a conflict involving multiple riders fighting for survival. The setup retains the core idea of rider versus rider battles while reshaping it for a different audience.
Kamen Rider.
Although the show was cancelled before its final episodes aired on television, it still found success in other ways. Dragon Knight won a Daytime Emmy Award for stunt coordination, highlighting the quality of its action. Over time, it's been remembered positively by fans, especially for how it handled the adaptation and introduced Kamen Rider to a wider audience. That lasting impact and recognition are what earns it the number 44 spot. Coming in at number 43 is Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, a series that brought a bold, game-inspired style into the Kamen Rider franchise. The story follows Imu Hojo, a doctor at Seito University Hospital who's also a skilled gamer. He transforms into Kamen Rider Ex-Aid to fight the Bugsters, a virus that manifests inside patients. His motivation is rooted in his past, including personal loss and an early experience that pushed him toward becoming a doctor. Ex-Aid's combat system is built around leveling up, with forms that evolved like an RPG video game.
I'm a Kamen Rider.
He starts with a more stylized look, then progresses into more traditional rider forms, while still keeping the bright, game-like aesthetic. The design stands out with its pink and green color scheme, large eyes, and unique helmet details, like anime hair. The series also features some of the most recognizable forms in the franchise, including Muteki Gamer, a powerful golden form that gives Ex-Aid a major advantage in battle. Ex-Aid brought a fresh energy to Kamen Rider with its vibrant presentation and creative style, earning it the number 43 spot. Coming in at number 42 is Fang of God Jinga from the GARO franchise, a dark, character-focused series that expands the lore of Jinga, one of the franchise's most tragic figures. Set after the events of Fang of God, the series centers on Jinga and the conflict between his human side and his nature as a horror. Reborn into the Mikage family with no memory of his past, his life quickly unravels after a series of traumatic events that push him closer to darkness. As the story progresses, Jinga is manipulated and gradually loses control, leading him to make choices that have devastating consequences. The emotional weight of those moments gives the series a strong focus on tragedy and internal struggle. Masahiro Inoue's performance plays a major role in bringing that story to life, giving the character what it needs to explore both sides of his identity in a way that feels personal and grounded. I love this show's vibe, and it's something that stuck with me long after watching. Due to this show's focus on duality, loss, and the inability to escape one's darker nature, Fang of God Jinga stands out as one of the more emotionally intense entries in the GARO franchise, and that's what earns it the number 42 spot on this list. Coming in at number 41 is VR Troopers, an American Metal Hero adaptation that had a lot of great things going for it in its own right. Following the success of Power Rangers, Saban expanded into similar territory by using footage from multiple Metal Hero series, including Scheider, Spielban, and Metalder. That combination created a hybrid show that carried over the transformation-based action while adapting it for a new audience. The structure was familiar to Western fans, with a team of young heroes guided by a mentor as they battle against an overarching enemy threat. At the same time, it adds its own elements, including a more tech-focused setting and even a talking dog, which gave the show a slightly different style. While it only ran for 2 seasons, VR Troopers found a solid audience and played an important role in introducing Western viewers to concepts rooted in the Metal Hero franchise. Back in the day, I thought this show was so cutting edge and futuristic. It was like Power Rangers on steroids. Plus, how can you not like the talking dog? The influence that this show had and its place in the broader Toku fandom outside of Japan are what earns it the number 41 spot. Coming in at number 40 is Geki Ranger, a season that stands out for its unique martial arts theme. Geki Ranger centers around kung fu and animal-based fighting styles, with a strong emphasis on ki and elements drawn from Chinese mythology. The heroes go through training and use specialized techniques to battle rival martial arts schools. The series explores the philosophy behind strength, which adds a lot of depth to the conflict. The team also includes the wolf-themed Geki Violet, who brings a different style and energy to the show. Due to this show's distinct theme and martial arts focus, Geki Ranger carved out a unique place in the Sentai franchise, earning it the number 40 spot on our list.
Ready? Ready! Time for Time Force!
Coming in at number 39 is Power Rangers Time Force, one of the most respected and story-driven seasons in the Power Rangers franchise. The series follows a police force from the year 3000 that travels back in time to stop the mutant criminal Ransik. After losing their Red Ranger, they recruit Wes Collins, a man from the present who looks identical to him, setting up a story that blends time travel with character-driven conflict. What makes Time Force stand out is its focus on growth and consequences. Wes evolves from a carefree rich kid into a selfless hero, while Jin brings a strong sense of discipline and purpose to the team. Their dynamic adds emotional weight that carries throughout the series.
Your time's up!
This show also explores themes like destiny, class divide, and redemption, giving it a more grounded and mature tone. Visually and structurally, the series leans into its futuristic setting, while still delivering strong action and memorable moments. With its strong writing, standout characters, and lasting impact, Time Force is often considered one of the best Power Rangers seasons ever, and that's what earns it the number 39 spot on our list. Coming in at number 38 is Live Man, a season known for its dark tone and emotionally heavy storytelling. The story follows a group of students from Academia Island who take on the organization Volt after they're betrayed by their fellow classmates. That foundation gives the series a more serious tone right from the start. Live Man leans heavily into themes of loss, betrayal, and consequences. The outcomes of the team's victories usually carry a lot of weight, which keeps the stakes consistently high. Those elements give the characters more depth and make their motivations feel personal. The villains also add a lot of heaviness to the show. Their connection to the heroes adds another layer to the conflict, making it more than just a standard battle between good and evil. As the final Super Sentai series of the Showa era, Live Man left a strong impression with its approach to storytelling. It's often brought up when fans talk about darker, more mature Sentai seasons. Live Man's tone and character depth earn it the number 38 spot. Coming in at number 37 is Ultraman Leo, one of the most intense and emotionally heavy series in Toku history. The story focuses on Gin Otori, a survivor from the destroyed planet L-77, who arrives on Earth after losing everything to alien magma. He takes on a human identity and joins the MAC defense team, where he's trained by Dan Moroboshi, Ultra 7, who serves as his mentor. Gin is consistently pushed to his limits, facing repeated losses, difficult battles, and situations where the consequences don't just disappear at the end of the episode. When Dan is injured and unable to fight, Gin is forced to carry the responsibility on his own, which adds even more pressure to his journey. The action reflects that intensity too. The fights are physical and grounded, making each encounter feel personal and hard fought. As the story goes on, Gin grows from a survivor driven by loss into a disciplined and selfless hero. That development is built through hardship, giving the series a strong focus on resilience and endurance. With its dark tone and emotional weight, Ultraman Leo was one of the most serious shows of its era, and that's what earns it the number 37 spot on our list. Coming in at number 36 is GARO, the One Who Shines in the Darkness, a series that took the GARO franchise in a bold new direction. Set in a separate continuity from the original, the story follows Ryuga Dogai, who earns the title of GARO after retrieving the GARO Kin. When he takes on the armor, it's weakened and incomplete, forcing him to grow into the role instead of starting at full strength. Ryuga had a more emotional and impulsive personality. At times that can work against him, but it also fuels his determination, and over the course of the series he develops into a capable and independent Makai Knight, with new characters bringing their own abilities and perspectives into the conflict. Together they expand the world and give the series a strong ensemble feel. By stepping away from the original continuity while still respecting the core themes of GARO, the series takes a risk that pays off. It builds its own identity while maintaining the darker tone and style that the franchise is known for. That willingness to evolve while staying true to its roots is what earns it the number 36 spot right here. Coming in at number 35 is Ultraman Ace, a Showa-era series that stands out for its intensity and emotional weight. The series follows Seiji Hokuto and Yuko Minami, who share the role of Ultraman Ace. That dual-host premise adds a strong focus on teamwork and responsibility, giving the story a different dynamic compared to other Ultra seasons. The threats also feel more intense than usual. The alien Yapul create powerful monsters designed not just to attack, but to break human morale, which adds a psychological element to the conflict. As the series progresses, it leans into heavier moments, including a major turning point involving Yuko that shifts the tone and raises the stakes. The defense team is often put in difficult situations, facing outcomes that aren't always clean victories. Battles take a visible toll, and there was a strong focus on the cost of protecting humanity. Ultraman Ace had a focus on sacrifice, pressure, and lasting consequences, which made for a more serious and gritty take on the Ultra formula, earning it the number 35 spot on our list. Coming in at number 34 is Mask Man, a season that introduced several new ideas that would go on to shape the Sentai formula. Mask Man stands out for its focus on aura power, with each member of the team channeling their internal energy to enhance their abilities in battle. That concept gave the action a different feel that would separate it from earlier entries in the franchise. The series also introduced a few important milestones. It was the first season where each ranger had their own individual mecha, something that would later become a standard part of the franchise. It also featured X1 Mask, a one-episode character who's often seen as a precursor to the 6th Rangers that would appear in later seasons. This is one of the earliest Sentai seasons that I watched, and I was impressed by how different the tone is compared to Western superhero shows. It's just so bleak and gritty. Due to its unique theme and influence on the future of Sentai, Mask Man holds an important place in the franchise's history, landing it here at number 34. Coming in at number 33 is Ultraman Dyna, a direct sequel to Tiga that serves as a continuation of its world while taking the story in a new direction. Set a few years after the events of Tiga, the series follows Shin Asuka, who becomes Ultraman Dyna. He starts off as an energetic and optimistic rookie, bringing a lighter personality into the role, but the story gradually challenges that outlook as the stakes increase. What makes Dyna stand out is how it develops that character over time. Asuka is put into situations where victories come with consequences, and he's forced to confront the realities of protecting others. The series explores themes like sacrifice, responsibility, and humanity's expansion into space, giving it a huge scale. As the story goes on, the tone becomes more serious, with arcs that carry emotional weight and show that not every problem has a simple solution. That progression allows Asuka to grow into a more grounded and capable hero. Ultraman Dyna had strong character development, and it built on what came before while also establishing its own identity, and that's what earns it the number 33 spot. Coming in at number 32 is Jaspion, a series that marked a shift for the Metal Hero franchise and helped define its next era. Jaspion was the first entry to move away from the Space Sheriff label, signaling a new direction while still keeping elements that fans were familiar with. It follows Jaspion, a warrior raised after losing his parents, who learns of a prophecy involving the destruction of the world by giant creatures known as megabeasts. Armed with special armor made from a rare material called Agenium, Jaspion travels across different planets to battle these threats and stop Satan Gorth, the force behind the prophecy. That structure gives the series a broad scale, expanding way beyond just a single setting. One of the standout additions is Dailion, Jaspion's giant robot, which adds another layer to the action and became one of the defining features of the show. Jaspion had a mix of classic elements and new ideas, landing it here at the number 32 spot. Coming in at number 31 is Ultraman Orb, a modern Ultraman series that works as both an introduction to the franchise and a celebration of its legacy. The story follows Guy Kurenai, who transforms into Ultraman Orb as he faces off against Jugless Juggler, one of the most memorable rivals in the series. Their dynamic drives the story forward. Orb also features the SSP, a group of independent investigators who help uncover and document strange events surrounding the Ultraman battles. Their presence adds a grounded perspective to the larger conflict. As part of the franchise's 50th anniversary celebration, Orb incorporates elements from past Ultras while still telling its own story. It builds on the legacy of the series without requiring deep prior knowledge, making it easy for new viewers to jump in. This was easily one of the best modern entries in the franchise, earning it the number 31 spot on our list. Coming in at number 30 is Ultraman Nexus, one of the boldest and most mature entries in the Ultra franchise. Nexus takes a completely different approach from the usual formula, leaning into a serialized, slow-burn story that feels more like a sci-fi drama than a traditional Toku series. Instead of focusing on a single host, the power of Nexus is passed between multiple people, each carrying their own struggles and emotional weight. The series treats heroism as a heavy responsibility. Every host pays a personal price, and the connection between Ultra and human is shown as something powerful but also tragic. Themes like trauma, loss, and survivor's guilt are explored throughout the story, giving it a tone that stands apart from most other series in the genre. The threats reflect that same intensity. The space beasts aren't just enemies to defeat, they feel dangerous and unpredictable, and the consequences of their actions carry forward into later episodes, creating a sense of continuity and tension that stays consistent. The atmosphere also plays a big role, with darker visuals, moody lighting, and an ongoing sense of mystery surrounding Nexus and the larger conflict. Ultraman Nexus rewards a viewer's patience with some of the deepest storytelling in the franchise, and its willingness to take risks is what makes it so memorable, earning it the number 31 spot right here. Coming in at number 29 is the original GARO series, a dark and mature series that helped define an entirely different side of Toku. The story follows Koga Seijima, a Makai knight who hunts creatures known as horrors, monsters born from the darkness within human hearts. Trained from childhood, Koga is a disciplined and highly skilled warrior, carrying himself with a serious and often cold demeanor, but guided by a strong sense of duty. As the story unfolds, Koga encounters Kaoru, a woman who becomes entangled in the world of horrors. Their relationship develops over time, adding emotional depth to the series and giving Koga a more human side. GARO stands out for its tone, leaning much darker and more mature than most Toku series, with a focus on atmosphere and psychological themes. That approach helped it carve out a unique identity and set the foundation for everything that followed in the franchise. As a big horror fan, I watch GARO every October around Halloween. The tone just hits different. With its strong visual style, memorable characters, and distinct tones, the original GARO series is a modern classic, and that's what earns it the 29 spot right here. Coming in at number 28 is Kamen Rider Geats, a standout modern Kamen Rider season built around a high-stakes battle royale concept, one of my personal favorites. The series centers on the Desire Grand Prix, a competition run by mysterious organizers from the future where riders fight for the chance to have their deepest wish granted. That setup creates constant tension, with shifting alliances and unpredictable outcomes driving the story forward. At the center of it all is Ace Yukio, a confident and calculated protagonist who always seems to be one step ahead of everyone else.
Fight!
Alongside him are characters like Neon, a popular online influencer with a strong personal story arc, and Keiwa, who starts off optimistic but goes through a major transformation over time. And of course we can't forget about Michinaga, or Kamen Rider Buffa. The cast plays a big role in what makes Geats work. Each character has clear motivations tied to their desires, which adds depth to the competition and keeps the conflicts feeling personal. If the list was only based on my opinion, Geats would probably rank way higher. I love the characters, the suits, and the epic story. This show does get some criticisms, but I think it's pretty popular overall. With its strong premise and engaging characters, Geats has quickly become one of the more well-liked modern Rider seasons, landing it here at number 28.
I have captured the mighty Zordon and am draining him of his powers.
Coming in at number 27 is Power Rangers in Space, a well-thought-out season that helped redefine what Power Rangers could be. Picking up after the events of Turbo, the story follows TJ, Cassie, Carlos, and Ashley as they head into space, where they meet Andros, the Red Space Ranger from KO-35. Together they take on Astronema and a growing threat that extends far beyond Earth. This season shifted the franchise towards a more serialized format, with ongoing storylines, higher stakes, and strong emotional weight. It felt more like a continuous sci-fi adventure rather than a collection of standalone episodes. Plus, Andros' personal story, especially his connection to Astronema, added a deeper emotional layer to the narrative. When I was a kid, this show just felt like it was on another level than Turbo. It felt absolutely epic. In Space stands out as one of the most important seasons in the franchise's history, and that's what earns it the number 27 spot. Coming in at number 26 is the original Ultraman series, the show that defined the Ultra formula and set the stage for everything that followed. Building on the foundation of Ultra Q, this show introduced a central hero into the mix, combining kaiju storytelling with a consistent protagonist that fans could root for. The story follows the Science Special Search Party as they investigate and respond to monster threats, with Shin Hayata transforming into Ultraman to defend Earth. Ultraman, hailing from the Land of Light, brings a wide range of abilities into battle, including his iconic beam attacks, which quickly became a signature part of the franchise. That combination of human investigation and large-scale combat created a structure that would define the series moving forward. This show had a lasting influence on Toku as a whole, and it remains one of the most important series ever made, making Ultraman a no-brainer for the number 26 spot. Coming in at number 25 is Kamen Rider Ryuki. A hugely popular season known for its large cast of riders and its high-stake premise. The story takes place across two worlds, with riders entering the mirror world through reflective surfaces. Each rider is given a contract and a clear condition: only one can survive. That setup creates the Rider War, where participants fight for a single wish, turning the series into a constant battle of ideals and motivations. Shinji Kido serves as the main rider, bringing a more hopeful perspective into a conflict built around survival, while characters like Rin add a different edge to the story as it progresses. The shifting dynamics between riders keep the narrative unpredictable. Ryuki also introduced several major changes to the franchise. It was the first season to use card-based abilities, and one of the earliest to fully embrace rider versus rider conflict, including clearly defined villain riders. The visual design reflects that change too, with more experimental and elaborate suit designs, especially in the helmets, giving each rider a distinct identity. With its unique structure, large cast, and lasting influence on the franchise, Kamen Rider Ryuki remains one of the most important Rider seasons ever, and that's what earns it the number 25 spot. Coming in at number 24 is Aba Ranger, a season that blends humor, action, and some surprisingly intense moments. Aba Ranger stands out right away with its premise, introducing a parallel Dino Earth that split from our world millions of years ago. That concept gives the series a unique backdrop while delivering an exciting dinosaur theme. The tone strikes a strong balance between comedy and high-stakes conflict. The team dynamic feels more relaxed and adventurous, with plenty of playful interactions, while the action is fast and impactful. The villains are loud, eccentric, and often at odds with each other, which makes their plans feel unpredictable and keeps the story from becoming too straightforward. One of the biggest highlights is Abare Killer, a powerful and intimidating presence who eventually becomes part of the team. His role adds tension and gives the series one of its most memorable character arcs. This is one of my favorite suit designs in all of Toku. It looks sinister and evil. Aba Ranger earns the number 24 spot due to its unique premise, strong character dynamics, and ability to balance humor with intensity. Coming in at number 23 is Kamen Rider Den-O, a series that was an absolute phenomenon in Japan. The story follows Ryotaro Nogami, a timid and unlucky protagonist whose personality completely shifts when he's possessed by the Imajin. Each Imajin brings a different attitude, changing how he fights and how he carries himself even outside of transformation. Alongside Hana and the Imajin, Ryotaro travels through time on the Den liner, taking on rogue Imajin who try to alter the past. The time travel structure keeps the story moving while allowing for a wide range of scenarios. The series also introduces Kamen Rider Zeronos, adding another layer to the narrative and expanding the cast in a meaningful way. A big part of Den-O's success comes from its comedic timing and character chemistry, which made it stand out from other Rider seasons. Its popularity translated into massive success for Toei, leading to multiple films, crossovers, and one of the longest-lasting post-series runs in the franchise. That level of impact, staying power, and sheer popularity is what earns Kamen Rider Den-O the number 23 spot. Coming in at number 22 is Ultraman Taro, a legendary Ultra series featuring one of the most recognizable heroes in Toku history. The story follows Kotaro Higashi, who survives a near-fatal accident after being saved by the Ultra Brothers. He goes on to join ZAT, the defense team tasked with protecting Earth, and gains the ability to transform into Ultraman Taro. Taro stands out within the Ultra series because of his strong connection to the larger Ultra family. He fights alongside the Ultra Brothers, helping establish the idea of a unified group of heroes within the franchise. His design also plays a big role in that. The signature horns on his head, inherited from the father of Ultra, give him a distinct look, and his name itself represents courage and a strong sense of justice. As the series progresses, Taro becomes a defining presence in the Ultra universe, both within the show and in later appearances across the franchise. His popularity has remained consistent over time, and he's still one of the most talked about Ultras among fans. Due to its strong connection to the broader Ultra legacy and its lasting recognition within the Toku fandom, Ultraman Taro earns the number 22 spot. Coming in at number 21 is Kamen Rider, the original series that started it all, often called Ichigo, or Kamen Rider 1. The story begins with Takeshi Hongo, a college student who's turned into a cyborg by the evil organization Shocker. They fail to fully control his mind and he escapes, using his powers to fight back against them. That foundation, a cyborg hero battling an evil organization, would go on to define the early years of the franchise. Partway through the series, Hiroshi Fujioka was injured during filming, leading to the introduction of Hayato Ichimonji, played by Takeshi Sasaki. Hayato brings a different kind of charisma to the role, and eventually the two writers join forces, creating one of the most iconic duos in Toku history. With nearly 100 episodes, a clear identity, and a lasting influence on everything that followed, the original Kamen Rider is one of the most important series in the history of Toku, and that's what earns it the number 21 spot on this list. Coming in at number 20 is Kamen Rider Decade, the Kamen Rider anniversary season that celebrates 10 years of the Heisei era and left a huge mark on the franchise. The story follows Tsukasa Kadoya, who transforms into Kamen Rider Decade and travels across alternate Rider worlds as those universes begin to converge together. Along the way, he encounters past Heisei Riders and gains the ability to transform into them himself, which gave the series a huge amount of variety and fan appeal. Even though Decade only ran for 31 episodes, it packed in a massive amount of fan service and franchise history. The entire premise was built around revisiting the Heisei era in a way that longtime fans could appreciate, and that focus made it feel much bigger than its episode count. Its impact didn't stop when the season ended either. Decade became one of the most recurring legacy riders and later crossover projects, which only added to this show's importance in the larger Rider universe. Decade was one of the most important Rider seasons of the Heisei era, and if it had a longer run, it might place even higher, but it lands here in the number 20 spot. Coming in at number 19 is Kaku Ranger, a season that blends ninja action with deeper storytelling and a really unique tone. Kaku Ranger follows a team of ninjas battling yokai, drawing inspiration from Japanese folklore and also incorporating elements from Journey to the West, with a group of very different personalities coming together over the course of a larger journey. The series goes beyond a simple good versus evil setup by exploring how constant conflict shapes its characters. The stakes feel more personal, and you can see how being in a life or death situation affects their decisions, motivations, and relationships. Fights feel tactical, with a focus on strategy, equipment, and how each member contributes to the team rather than just straightforward combat. Even with its darker tone and added depth, Kaku Ranger still keeps the core elements that make Sentai enjoyable, which helped it stand out while remaining accessible to all audiences. That balance of theme, action, and character work is what earns Kaku Ranger the number 19 spot. Coming in at number 18 is Kamen Rider Kabuto, a season known for its style, speed, and one of the coolest protagonists in Toku history. The story takes place several years after a meteorite strikes Shibuya, bringing with it shape-shifting creatures known as worms. To combat them, riders use advanced systems designed for high-speed combat, including the signature cast-off mechanic, which sheds an outer layer of armor to reveal a faster, more agile form. That feature gave Kabuto a unique identity and introduced something completely new to the series. Soji Tendo leads the show as Kamen Rider Kabuto. He carries himself with extreme confidence, often coming across as arrogant, but that personality is balanced by the way his relationships develop over time. His calm, controlled demeanor and attention to detail, even outside of combat, make him stand out among Rider protagonists. The series also features a wide range of riders, each with their own motivation and story arcs, which adds variety and keeps the narrative moving forward. This is another one of those shows I can always go back to. It pretty much has everything. A great protagonist, entertaining action, and a story that will absolutely hook you. That's why it lands here in the number 18 spot. Coming in at number 17 is Ultraman Mebius, a series that focuses on strong character growth while being a celebration of the Ultraman legacy. The story follows Mirai Hibino, a young Ultra sent to Earth on his first mission. He takes on a human identity and joins the Gai's defense team, starting out as optimistic and inexperienced, but gradually growing through the challenges he faces. What makes Mebius stand out is how it handles that growth. The series doesn't avoid difficult situations. There are real consequences, moments of loss, and situations where saving everyone just isn't possible. Those experiences shape Mirai into a more mature and capable hero over time. The bond between Mirai and the Gai's team is a core part of the story. Their relationship develops into something that feels closer to a family than a standard defense unit, which adds emotional weight to the series as it progresses. As an anniversary season, it also brings back classic Ultra heroes, tying Mirai's journey into the larger legacy of the franchise. That connection reinforces the theme of responsibility and what it means to carry on that legacy. With a great blend of action, character development, and respect for the franchise's history, Ultraman Mebius lands here at number 17. Coming in at number 16 is Kamen Rider Phase, a dark, character-driven series that stands out for its tone and themes. The story centers around the Smart Brain organization, which seeks to replace humanity with Orphanox, the next stage of human evolution. To carry out their plans, they create Rider Gear systems, including Phase, Kaiza, and Delta. Takumi Inui becomes Kamen Rider Phase after coming into possession of the Phase Gear, and from there, the story unfolds through a series of overlapping conflicts, misunderstandings, and shifting alliances. The narrative leans heavily into character drama, with tension often coming from relationships rather than just external threats. The suits, transformations, and tech-based aesthetic gives the series a distinct identity, and the multiple writers create constant friction throughout the story. Phase has remained one of the more memorable and discussed Rider seasons due to its layered plot, strong atmosphere, and unique take on identity and evolution, landing here at number 16. Coming in at number 15 is Juko B-Fighter, a standout entry in the Metal Hero franchise with a strong team dynamic and memorable characters. The series follows a group of elite soldiers who use insect-themed heavy armor developed by Earth Academia to transform and fight against the Jamal organization. The suits are visually striking, with a more armored and mechanical look that sets them apart from other heroes of the time. One of the biggest strengths of the show is its villain faction. Jamal is more than just a standard enemy group, with internal dynamics and motivations that add a lot of depth to the show. That makes the battles feel really meaningful. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed Beetleborgs, and when I got around to watching Juko B-Fighter, it exceeded my already high expectations. The tone and story are peak Metal Hero. Due to its strong visual design, engaging characters, and well-developed conflicts, I consider Juko B-Fighter to be an underrated classic, landing at a spot right here at number 15. Coming in at number 14 is Time Ranger, a Sentai season widely respected for its storytelling and emotional depth. Time Ranger follows a team from the future who travels back in time to stop criminals that have escaped into the past. What sets this show apart is how seriously it takes its story. The time travel concept isn't just a gimmick, it directly affects the characters, their choices, and the consequences they have to live with. The show consistently builds towards its ending, giving it a strong sense of direction from start to finish. The characters in the show are another major strength. Each member of the team feels distinct, and their interactions evolve naturally over time. With its grounded tone, strong character arcs, and one of the most memorable endings in the franchise, Time Ranger has earned its reputation as one of the best Sentai seasons ever, and that's what lands it here in the number 14 spot. Coming in at number 13 is Kamen Rider Gaim, a season that took a wild concept and turned it into one of the most memorable stories in the franchise. On the surface, Gaim looks like a show about fruit-themed samurai, but the story quickly shifts into something much deeper. The world it takes place in feels unstable, with people struggling to find purpose. The story follows Kota Kazuraba, a highly relatable and charismatic lead who becomes Kamen Rider Gaim. As the stakes rise, he's forced to navigate conflicts that go far beyond simple heroics, and that progression gives the series real weight. Gaim also leans heavily into Rider vs. Rider battles, with shifting alliances and internal conflicts driving much of the story. That tension adds unpredictability and keeps the narrative moving forward. With its unique premise, dark tone, and strong character work, Gaim has become one of the most talked about and well-remembered Rider seasons. It's a huge part of the franchise's history, and that's what earns it the number 13 spot. Coming in at number 12 is Die Ranger, a season known for its intensity, unique themes, and excellent action. Die Ranger leans heavily into Chinese mythology and martial arts, which makes it stand out within the Sentai franchise. The choreography is fast, aggressive, and visually dynamic, giving this show some of the most impactful action the series had ever seen. The story follows a group of heroes brought together by Master Kaku, chosen for their strong ki to battle against the ancient Gorma tribe. That focus on energy, discipline, and combat gives the series a more serious and focused tone compared to many other Sentai seasons. These are some of my favorite suits within Sentai, and the Gorma tribe is also one of my favorite villain groups, complete with their BDSM outfits. Due to this show's theme and intense action, Dairanger carved out a unique place within Sentai history, and that's what earns it the number 12 spot. Coming in at number 11 is Kamen Rider Oz, a season that hits all the right notes with its characters and themes. The story follows Eiji Hino, a wandering nomad with a tragic past and a surprisingly simple outlook on life. He gets pulled into a conflict involving the Greed, creatures born from desire, after meeting Ankh, one of their members, who's basically just a disembodied arm. Ankh provides Eiji with the belt and medals needed to transform into Kamen Rider Oz after Eiji chooses to help him. The core mechanic of the series revolves around metals. Oz can mix and match different types to create new forms, but combining 3 of the same type unlocks some of the most powerful and visually striking transformations. After watching Double, I thought that show would be hard to measure up to, but Oz did a great job on its own. A lot of that is because of how excellent Eiji is as a character. This show had really strong characters, a unique power system, great looking forms, and an interesting story, making Oz stand out as one of the most complete Rider seasons of its era, landing at a spot here at number 11. Coming in at number 10 is Kamen Rider Build, a fan favorite season known for its strong world building and character driven story. The series is set after the discovery of Pandora's box on Mars, which led to the Skywall disaster and split Japan into 3 warring regions. Along with that came the creation of monsters known as Smash, forcing the government to rely on a new kind of hero to fight back. That's where Sento comes in, a genius scientist who transforms into Kamen Rider Build. His intelligence shapes how he fights, using different form combinations and experiments to adapt to each situation. The science theme runs throughout the series and gives it a unique identity within the franchise. The supporting cast plays a big role too. Cross Z stands out as a strong secondary writer with a compelling story arc, and Evoluto brings a constant sense of danger as an alien threat with long-term plans that drive the story forward. Due to this show's memorable characters and strong storytelling, Build has become one of the most well-liked Rider seasons in recent years. That's what earns it the number 10 spot. Coming in at number 9 is Ultraman Tiga, one of the most groundbreaking shows in the Ultra franchise. Tiga marked the return of Ultraman after a 15-year gap and kicked off the Heisei era. The story follows Daigo Madoka, a member of the Guts defense team who discovers he can merge with Tiga, an ancient Ultra warrior tied to Earth's distant past. What really sets this show apart is its storytelling. The series leans into heavier themes and often explores moral gray areas, questioning whether humanity always deserves saving and showing how fear and greed can create its own kind of destruction. Not every threat is purely evil, and that nuance gives the show a more mature tone than most shows. There's also a strong sense of mystery running throughout the series. The origins of Tiga and the ancient Ultra civilization are revealed gradually, giving the story a mythic and almost spiritual feel. Combined with strong character growth for Daigo, the series builds emotional weight in a way that stays with you. The cinematography, music, and overall tone feel more cinematic than earlier series, while still staying true to what makes Ultraman work. This show raised the bar with Ultraman, and its influence can still be felt across Toku. That's what earns it the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8 is Ranger, a personal favorite of mine that blends police drama with classic Sentai action. Ranger follows a team of SPD officers as they track down space criminals known as alienizers. The series leans heavily into its detective theme, with each episode structured around solving cases rather than just defeating enemies. Even the name reflects that identity, since Deka is Japanese slang for detective. What sets this show apart is how it approaches problem solving. Characters have their own unique methods, like Jasmine's ESP abilities or Sin's upside-down thinking process, which gives each investigation a different feel. That variety keeps the formula fresh. The cast is one of the biggest strengths here. Every member of the team has a distinct personality. That charm, combined with a strong structure and memorable cases, is a big reason why Deca Ranger has remained so popular over time. It also stands out for its use of additional Rangers who appear more sparingly, adding variety without overcrowding the core team. This show is like a warm blanket to me. If you're having a bad day, watch some Deca Ranger, and it'll probably raise your spirits. This show always makes me smile. The balance of personality and a strong theme is what earns Deca Ranger the number 8 spot. Coming in at number 7 is Shinkenger, one of the most popular and stylistically unique Sentai seasons ever made. The story follows Takeru Shiba, a samurai clan leader, and his loyal retainers as they transform into the Shinkengers to battle the Geidoshu. The team dynamic is built around hierarchy and duty, which gives the series a different feel compared to most Sentai teams. Shinkenger stands out because of how well it blends the traditional Sentai formula with elements of classic Japanese drama. The setting, the aesthetics, and the tone all lean heavily into that samurai identity, and it creates a style that feels distinct from almost everything else in the franchise. The cast is highly likable, the action is consistently well choreographed, and the presentation carries that traditional Japanese influence all the way through. It also delivered one of the more memorable crossovers in the franchise with Kamen Rider Decade, marking a rare moment where both series came together. Over time, Shinkenger cemented itself as a fan favorite and a defining entry in Toku history, and that's what earns it the number 7 spot. Coming in at number 6 is Ultra 7, an absolute classic within the Ultraman franchise and Toku as a whole. The story follows Dan Motoboshi, an alien from the Land of Light that takes on a human identity and fights as Ultra 7 alongside the Ultra Guard. Together, they defend Earth from a wide range of alien threats and kaiju, often dealing with situations that feel more grounded and thought-provoking than a typical Monster of the Week format. Ultra 7 stands out for its cinematic style and presentation, which were ahead of their time. The series places a strong emphasis on atmosphere, framing, and storytelling, giving it a more serious tone that still holds up today. Ultra 7's look was originally intended to be blue, but was changed to red due to filming limitations, and it ended up becoming one of the most iconic designs in the franchise. This show's also very accessible. You don't need to watch anything beforehand, and the structure makes it easy to jump in while still delivering memorable stories. Ultra 7 is one of the most beloved entries in Ultraman history, and its influence can still be felt across Toku. That's what earns it the number 6 spot. Coming in at number 5 is Jetman, one of the deepest and most mature Sentai seasons ever made. Jetman stands out for its more grounded tone and its focus on character-driven storytelling. It leans into complex relationships, internal conflict, and emotional stakes in a way that feels closer to a drama than a typical Sentai series. The villains also contribute a lot to the tone of the show. Vyram isn't just a standard evil organization, it's a group defined by infighting and power struggles. These characters have layered motivations that go beyond simple good versus evil conflict, which makes every encounter feel more unpredictable. There's also a love triangle here that adds another layer that you don't usually see in Toku. It runs throughout the series and creates tension that feels personal. Combined with a reduced focus on comedy, it gives Jetman a unique feel within Sentai. The balance of grounded storytelling, strong characters, and emotional stakes is what makes Jetman so memorable, and that's what earns it the number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4 is Kamen Rider Kuga, the series that brought Kamen Rider back after an 11-year hiatus and kicked off the Heisei era. The story follows Yusuke Godai, who discovers an ancient artifact that allows him to transform into Kuga and fight the Gorongi. As the threat escalates, Kuga evolves alongside it, starting with a more primitive form before growing into the red, black, and gold rider design that's become so iconic over the years. Yusuke is one of the most memorable protagonists in the franchise. He stays optimistic even in difficult situations, constantly pushing himself to improve while putting himself in danger to protect others. That mindset gives the series a strong emotional core and makes his growth feel earned. Kuga's multiple forms add variety without feeling excessive, each with its own color palette and purpose. His ultimate form, with its black and gold design, stands out as one of the most striking final forms in the entire franchise. This show had really strong character work, and it created a lasting impact on everything that followed. Kuga has become one of the most respected and influential Toku series ever made, landing it here in the number 4 spot. Coming in at number 3 is Kamen Rider Double, one of the most popular and well-loved Rider seasons of all time, but I'll admit that it beats out Kuga due to my personal bias. Kamen Rider Double stands out immediately with its core concept, 2 people sharing one Rider body. Shotaro and Philip transform together, each controlling one half, using Gaia memories to swap abilities and create form combinations. That system gives the show a ton of variety while still feeling easy to follow. Shotaro is a self-proclaimed hard-boiled detective, even if everyone around him calls him half-boiled. He's stylish, determined, and constantly trying to live up to the legacy of his mentor. Philip is the complete opposite, more reserved, hyper-intelligent, and focused on solving cases through research and data. Their dynamic is what drives the show, and the contrast between them makes both characters more engaging. The suit design reinforces that contrast. The split color scheme, the layered armor, and the signature W on the helmet make it instantly recognizable. It's one of the cleanest and most iconic Rider designs, and even brings back the classic scarf in a way that feels natural. On top of that, the performances from the actors elevate everything. Their chemistry carries the series, and it's a big reason why Double remains so memorable. The structure, the characters, the style, it all comes together in a way that just works. I'll never get tired of watching this show. That's why Kamen Rider Double lands here at number 3, and for a lot of fans, it's still the definitive Rider season. Coming in at number 2 is Kamen Rider Black, one of the most legendary and respected series in Toku history. This is a darker, more grounded series than the entries that came before it, with a gritty look and a heavy emotional core that leans fully into drama. It follows Kotaro Minami, portrayed by Tetsuo Kurata, who brings a level of intensity to the role that's hard to replicate. His performance carries the show, and you can feel the weight of every decision he has to make. Kotaro and his brother Nobuhiko are kidnapped and turned into candidates to become the Creation King. Kotaro escapes and retains his autonomy, while Nobuhiko is transformed into Shadow Moon. That conflict drives the entire series, and every encounter with Gorgum feels personal. The tension between the two brothers adds a constant emotional pressure that never really lets up. Visually, this was also a huge turning point for Kamen Rider. The suits became more refined, with armor that felt more like actual armor and less like fabric, and that aesthetic carried forward into future seasons. The tone and the character work left a lasting impact on the franchise. This is definitely one of the most iconic Japanese shows of all time. Kamen Rider Black is still widely considered one of the greatest Toku shows ever made, and a lot of that comes down to how well it balances action, tone, and characters. That's what earns it the number 2 spot on our list. But fitting 100 shows into this list was surprisingly hard, so here's a few honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention goes to Akumizer 3. The series follows 3 demons who turn against their own kind to protect humanity, creating a dark and more unconventional premise. This show had striking character designs and an interesting anti-hero angle. It stands out as one of the more experimental shows of its era. Another honorable mention goes to Don Brothers, one of the most unconventional Sentai seasons ever made. The story embraces chaos with unpredictable writing, eccentric characters, and a narrative that constantly breaks expectations. With its wild tone and experimental style, it's become a standout modern entry that fans still talk about. To be honest, I could probably put 50 different shows here in the honorable mention category. And now, coming in at number 1 is Gokaiger, the pirate Sentai that was a celebration of everything that came before. This is easily the most versatile team in Toku history. If they ever ran into a problem their base abilities couldn't handle, they could just Gokai change, becoming past Sentai teams for flight, stealth, specialized weapons, or whatever the situation demanded. There was never really a scenario they couldn't adapt to. But what really pushed them over the top was how well they functioned as a unit. Their loyalty to each other made them stronger than the sum of their parts, and they moved like a team that didn't need to say a word to stay in sync. On top of that, they had a wide range of weapons that gave them a decisive edge in battle. Beyond just power, Gokaiger is one of the most popular and widely celebrated seasons in Super Sentai history. It honored the series' past, bringing back legacy characters, teams, and moments in a way that felt meaningful instead of just being for nostalgia. It's a celebration of Super Sentai and Toku as a whole. At the end of the day, this is a team with access to the abilities of over 100 Rangers across decades of history. They always had an answer, always had a counter, and always found a way to win. Not to mention the great writing, memorable characters, and over-the-top action. Basically everything you could ever want in a Toku show. That's why Gokaiger takes the #1 spot. So there you have it, the top 100 greatest Toku shows of all time. If you wanted to watch 100 shows before you die, I'd pick these ones. I'm pretty sure that you'll disagree with a few of these, so let me know what you'd move up or down in the comments and why. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smack the shit out of that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.